All right, welcome back to Generation Acres Farm. It is about 7:15 in the morning. This is our usual chore time. We oftentimes get the question, how long does it take in the morning to do your chores? So we're just gonna take you along in real time as we go about our morning chores. Now, normally we would kind of break this up and divide and conquer. I go take care of the chickens while Kristen takes care of the livestock guardian dogs, but just to kind of show you guys everything we do, we're all going to kind of move together and try to see if we can do this more or less in one take so you can see exactly what happens. Now, I am just now seeing this. Our dogs are in rare form today. Look at this. They are normally white as can be and apparently had a good time last night making a mess of things. I'm going to flip the camera around here. Let's see. Or no, I'm not. So step one, we have in our dog area this kind of double gate. Makes it a little easier for anybody really, but especially the kids coming and going. That way you don't accidentally let a dog out. The other benefit is it separates the dogs. Otherwise they try to get to each other's food. So that's step one for the dogs. We're gonna let them have their breakfast and we're gonna go take care of the chickens. Kids always come out here and help us out with chores. I don't know that we've ever hardly really asked them to. It's just something we kind of like to do together as a family. Hopefully make it a positive thing. How you guys like doing chores on the farm? Good. It's fun chores, taking care of animals. All right, next up, the chickens. So what we bring out with us in the morning is our egg basket and any food scraps you want to get rid of. You can feed the chickens pretty much anything, any food really. You don't want to feed them a whole lot of onions because your eggs will taste like onions. Other than that, they'll eat it. Little leftovers or whatever, so we'll bring some of that out there. Now we've got some chickens quarantined here because they're a little small and they were sneaking out of the net and not super safe for them. So we've got these guys separated.
One of them died.
One of them did die. We have lost one chicken to, we assume, predators so far. And we don't want to do that again. So keeping them separated to keep them trapped inside. All right, first up, some snacks. Turn the fence off. Can you hold that, buddy? Nope, this is the right stuff. Now we do use our, we just kind of put our food into, it's almost like a pie dish, essentially. Sometimes I'll make a couple little spots of food just because the chickens have a tendency to fight over the food and I don't want any of the chickens to get left out. Adeline, could you feed this to the chicks? Make sure they're good to go. And then Peter, you want to come help me collect eggs? Or Thomas?
Yeah.
Not sure who I'm talking to here. All right, in to collect eggs we go. All right, trying to do chores and film at the same time can be a little challenging. So I'll get it down eventually. Well, this may be a first. Do we have any eggs in there, bud? No eggs? Did we come out here too early? One egg. So normally we'll get 7+ eggs a day. I don't know if our timing is funny. Sometimes they'll make a little bad habit of laying eggs somewhere they shouldn't. So we'll have to double check for that. Or come out later in the day once they've laid their eggs. You don't see anything? Now, one thing we're not doing today that we do Normally about once a week. We're a little late, to be honest. We're a little behind. Whew. Got you guys stuck in the chicken net for a second there. Coming out, guys. Is we've moved the chickens. Normally once a week or so. It's been a little longer than that. They're a little overdue. We just haven't done it. We aren't moving them today, but that only takes a few moments. We got to lock the chickens up the night before, move the fence, roll them over. Pretty simple. But we won't be doing that today. All right, close the chickens back up. Turn the fence on. One egg. All right, time to take care of the sheep. Dogs are good to go. Chickens are good to go. Our youngest, Everly, this is how she usually spends chore time since her birthday. She's got her own special thing to do, riding around on her little ride-on Jeep. Did you put the dogs back together? Okay, so you did miss out on something. Kristen got the dogs back into their main enclosure and refreshed their water. I think part of the problem with them looking so muddy like that is their grass needs to be cut.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's dewy, so they get wet, so they get muddy.
Yep.
Now what's cool is their breed, the Marima, has a double coat, and they shed mud and water, obviously not instantly, but later on today we'll come out here and once they're dry and they'll be all white again. No bath required. So that is helpful for outside dogs, but I do need to get in there and cut the grass so that they're probably a little less miserable, a little less wet. All right, so we have our sheep in our back pasture farther back than we've ever put them, I think. We like to have them close by because we like to be able to just see them just because it's fun. And also to keep them close to the dogs to prevent any surprises with predators. So here goes our sheep move. Step one, we gotta find our little green bucket. All right, so now time to move the sheep. We got some grain. Who's gonna be our sheep mover today?
Me.
Peter, you got it? All right, so our method here is try not to let the sheep and goats escape. The fence is off and they know it. But we're gonna open it up. Peter's got the grain. Peter's gonna walk ahead, say sheep, 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 even though we know there's sheep and goats in here. And hopefully they'll follow him and I'll follow behind him with our sheep shelter. Our sheep shelter. Don't hurt yourself, Oliver. There you go.
All right, buddy, do you see the fence over there? See that pathway you can walk?
Honey looks very busy.
Thomas.
What?
Feeling muscly today? Madeline, you feeling muscly?
Yeah.
All right, Adeline's gonna open it for you. Bring that over here, Tom? Well, I don't know actually where we're gonna put it. Peter, help Thomas bring that stuff over here. Dad, do you want the energizer over here?
All right, so we got the sheep and goats moved over, got the shelter moved over. Last step is to set up the energizer. So I always try to think ahead of where the next paddock's gonna go. In this case, I went ahead and cut some lanes with our tractor bush hog. So that way it's easier to run the fence through the brush. If the vegetation is hitting it too much, it causes the fence not to hit as hard. So having these lanes opened up is helpful. Now the hardest part of moving this energizer is this grounding rod.
This thing needs to go a good distance into the ground, and sometimes you find a soft spot like this and it goes in pretty easy. Sometimes it takes a little bit more persuading, but today that wasn't so bad. I just don't like to move that if I don't have to, so try to put it in a position where I can get 2, maybe 3 moves out of it without having to relocate. Attach this to the grounding rod.
Let the kids get out.
This to the fence.
Come on out, kiddos.
We're ready to shut it on. So for the sheep and goats, that's their food. We don't have to add any food for them. They're just gonna help clear some vegetation for us. Their water's good.
All right, so that is it for our morning animal chores. The only other thing that will need to be done today is the dogs get an evening feeding. We'll put a little bit of food out for the barn cats. They mostly, you know, catch their food, but we do offer a little bit, especially because we have a little kitten right now. And you may have noticed that we did not show putting up this next paddock. I feel like we might get questions about that. The reason for that is that we try to do that on the days that we're not moving the sheep. So for instance, we move the sheep and goats every other day. So today they got moved. So tomorrow morning we'll pick up their old net and then place that. And so then the following day after that, we'll move them into that paddock, that kind of thing. It just makes it a little bit more reasonable. As you can see, the morning chores do not take that long. It's probably about 15 minutes, sometimes less. So we've tried to keep it pretty simple and manageable for our family so that we don't get overwhelmed, especially here in the beginning. We've only been in our house for 6 months now, so we're trying to, like I said, keep it manageable so we're not overwhelmed. Sometimes it feels too easy, honestly, so you know what that means. It's time to add more animals. But anyway, thanks so much for watching and following along with us today. If you're not already following us on Instagram, you should hop over there. We are at generationacres.farm over there. I try to share like daily clips and what I'm cooking and baking and things like that over there, which is fun. So follow us over there if you're not already. But otherwise, that's about it for the day. We'll probably do some work in the garden as far as homestead stuff. And then we've got homeschooling and baseball practice and just normal life. So anyway, thanks for following along with us today, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.